Hi, I'm Dr. Montagna. We're back doing our final talk on Candida leaky gut. This one is on some of the treatment options, and in reality, I'm going to highlight on here why so many of these fail. So when we look at any type of issue to try and address Candida, it has to deal with a whole bunch of different factors at the same time. It's got to deal with the gut and the lining and the flora, along with the mucous membranes, the lining and the flora in those. It needs to deal with liver, toxicity issues, being overwhelmed, the leaky gut coming into the liver. All has to be addressed before you can start to heal up the liver. Once you start to address that, it allows the liver to start to deal with toxicity issues. Once the toxicity issues start to lift, then your hormonal functions can start to regain health, such as thyroid, adrenal, all the hormonal axes. Food allergies can really start to be addressed once you deal with the Candida, because until you deal with the leaking gut that's going on, you can never address that. And then immune function, both in the liver, in the gut lining first, the liver second, systemically third, and all the autoimmune issues and hyperimmune reactions that go on with leaky gut. All that has to be addressed also. And it has to be addressed in the right order, otherwise you're wasting your time, therapy, and money. So when we look at the gut, the lining, it needs good multivitamins, fish oils, glutamine, zinc, molybdenum, your micro minerals, your nutrients, needs flora. FOS is an arguable issue, fructooligosaccharides. Granted, it is a food for the healthy microbiota, but Candida quickly morphed to start to feed on that. And when you give flora with FOS, typically within less than 30 days, the Candida is morphed to start to feed off of that, and you're feeding it and losing ground. Flora needs to be refrigerated, live cell, multiple strains. Those strains should have numbers on them. There's a fair amount of people looking at soil-based organisms. No one knows what those are. They can be pathogenic. We've tested those over a lot of years on a lot of people. Never found one soil-based product that was good. Then you look at antimicrobials. There's a host of antimicrobials out there. Garlic, uva ursi, grapeseed, ginger, berberine, caprylic acid, essential oils, all can be somewhat effective. It usually takes combinations of these to really get the job done. Then with the liver, liver detoxifies in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Both of those detoxification pathways are driven by nutrients. So people doing juice fasts and thinking they're doing a detox, they're not. And they can't, because the liver needs specific nutrients to be able to detoxify. And one of the more pathological states of detoxification is an upregulated phase 1. Phase 1 makes whatever a toxin is more toxic, usually. Phase 2 makes it soluble so it can be excreted. The pathological state of detoxification is an upregulated phase 1 and a downregulated phase 2, or phase 1 is working very efficiently and phase 2 is too sluggish. That makes our body be polluted with super toxins, free radicals, and things like that it can't get rid of. And then it goes through all the autoimmune issues that are going on with things. The toxins, one of the biggest solutions to any kind of pollution is diluted. So water intake is really big, but people with chronic adrenal fatigue issues, their water goes straight through them, and dilution becomes a real major problem. With clearing toxins, liver has to be supported. The gut needs to be supported. Fiber is huge as far as detoxification pathways. You need enough fiber to get 2 or more bowel movements a day. 3 to 5 is normal. There's no way you can detoxify in less than 2 a day. It's just one of those facts. And detoxification pathways can be specific for each organ and each individual with problems. Then there's the thyroid and adrenal. You have autoimmunity issues going on with those, toxicity issues going on inside of those. Stress management's a huge part of things, and they're also nutrient dependent also. The nutrients, microminerals, iodine is something that a lot of people look to for thyroid, but if your thyroid shut down because of autoimmune issues that are going on, which most of thyroid is autoimmune, that's not a thyroid deficiency, and thyroid's only going to give one more toxin the body has to deal with. Essential fats are huge. Glandulars and adaptogens work up in the brain level rather than at the organ level, and if we're dealing mostly with toxicity and autoimmune dysfunction within those organs, then how well are glandulars and adaptogens going to work? Really big question. Then there's food intolerances. Food intolerances are a huge part of what goes on with all this. Whenever anybody has a chronic dysbiosis issue, chronic Candida problem, dysbiosis is absolutely, or food intolerances is just a huge issue in them. A couple ways to deal with those. You can guess, which doesn't work. You can try and test those. The blood tests and the skin prick tests, studies show that those are so bad, the results of those. The American Academy of Immunology and Allergies and Immunology, the Canadian Society of Allergies and Immunology reject those tests. They're that bad. The results are primarily promoted in not very good journals. And beside that, they only test 2 to 3% of the potential responses that go on. I had to do some studies for some people a long time ago that had really thick files coming from some well-known docs that didn't really make a lot of sense. And I came across in the literature, it lets us know that the blood test and the RAS test, the skin prick test for food allergies only test for 2 to 3% of the potential food responses that go on the body. The other 97, 98%, they have no idea what they are and no idea on how to test them. So people that are getting the blood and the skin prick tests, they're paying a lot of money for a 2 to 3% potential accuracy. That's really not a good deal. There's functional tests. With that, the ability to test things is pretty much unlimited. It's really cost effective. 2 ways to do that. Electrodiagnostic issues. Those tend to have a reasonable accuracy, but they can't tell the extent or organ involvement on what's going on with those. Muscle testing has a 95 to 96% accuracy. The people that do muscle testing did studies with 95% accuracy. The government did studies that show 96% accuracy with the muscle testing. So the real key is whether the practitioner that does it is honest and has integrity. We commonly run into issues where that is consistently challenged, and anybody clinical practice would have that. We have people come in that we don't know have had lab testing done elsewhere. People that are seeing an oncologist, for example, before they come in to see us. We go through our evaluation, and there's point after point after point that we'll find with our testing that oncologists found with thousands of dollars worth of lab testing. So those to me are humbling in the fact that when we don't know all these checks and balances that are out there, whenever somebody comes with those checks and balances, we're found to be extremely accurate. We did some double-blind trials, not knowing who we were testing at a distance through electronic media. and then have those people come in and we test them through a surrogate, through electronic media like a phone. Then we have those people come in and we test them later and find we have 100% accuracy. That's only because we do what we do with honesty and integrity. That's not the results that everybody's going to get out there. Immune function, there's two different types of or classes of immune dysfunction. Th1 is where your cell immunity is hyperactive. Th2 is where your antibody or your humoral side is hyperactive. Typically there's a balance between those two, and when one side gets depressed, the other one will start to become hyperactive. The way to downregulate the cell-mediated is eat toxic things, and that doesn't make sense with chronic illness. The way to upregulate the antibody is to eat healthy things, things like fish oil, antioxidants, healthy living, lifestyle issues. So that really makes a lot more sense to go about it that way. So to address this, all those factors have to be put together in an individual basis to work with somebody. The one thing with the guessing with the food intolerance, so they got interrupted with that, there's a modified elimination diet protocols, but since over 75% of food intolerance responses are not gastrointestinal, there's really no linear correlation with whatever you find. So all the programs that are out there are failing in addressing one or multiple of these issues, and that's why the chronicity really perpetuates. So that's why you really need somebody who understands what's going on with all this. So if you like this video, hit the like down below, subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more, and we'll put a link up to our website once it comes up for anybody that wants to interact on this level. Thanks.